Welcome, everybody. We're here, episode 3 of Next Man Up. I'm, of course, your host, Chooch, and with me is my brother, my co-host, Loki, my sidekick, Mandy. So we got a nice, good jam-packed show for you today. And you know what? Instead of talking about it, let's just roll right into it. Let's get into it.
Do this.
So our first topic that I wanted to talk about was baseball, right? The shortened season has been weird. It's just been weird. That's like the best way to describe it. You got teams that are doing really well that you usually wouldn't see do well. You got teams who should be doing well, kind of struggling. And I know we kind of talked about some of those teams. Who's one team for you that just they're a surprise team? They're kind of out of nowhere.
Well, we discussed a lot during our whole MLB preview, and the one team that came out of nowhere that I was giving you a lot of crap for was the Rockies. The Colorado Rockies, man, they surprised the heck out of me.
I called that.
Definitely, okay. But the Rockies, man, I mean, look, right now, they lost today. Today's, whatever, Wednesday they lost. They're still first place in the National League West.
Yeah.
Okay? They have 6 guys batting over 300. Six guys batting over 300. And they have 9 pitchers who have thrown at least 3 innings, have an ERA under 3. 9 pitchers.
Nasty.
That's nasty. 6 guys batting 300. I mean,
is one of them? Hold on. Is one of them the guy I kind of talked about a while ago, Matty Kemp?
Yes, Matt Kemp. Oh. Matt Kemp is one of the guys batting over 300. He's earned his spot back. He's the Carmelo of the baseball world.
That's a good way to put it, actually, yeah.
Good way to put it, yes. Okay, he earned a spot. He's the team's official DH. Man, the Dodgers, they better watch out. Again, the Dodgers better watch out. The Rockies are first. The Padres are right behind them. That's my surprise team. It's definitely Trevor Story and the Colorado Rockies. Surprise team so far this first fifth of the season.
No doubt. For me, I mean, there's a lot of teams kind of surprising me. The Baltimore Orioles are surprising, but the one team that has to stand out the most has got to be the Florida Marlins. I mean,
I told you.
I mean, technically they're in first place right now in all of MLB. They've only lost 1 game. Granted, they've only played the Phillies and the Orioles, and the Orioles, I mean, have been pretty decent, but this is what gets me with the Marlins, right? These are their scores, lately. The 2 games today with the Orioles, they won 2-1. They allowed 1 run. Then they played the Orioles earlier, 1-0. They allowed 0 runs. And then they played the Orioles the day before, 4-0. They've been pitching lights out, not allowing a lot of runs. The first game they allowed 2, and actually, I watched that game. Alcantara, he threw the lights out. He was awesome. Though 2 runs actually came in because Jonathan Villar missed the ball in center field. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gave up any runs. They would have only had 2 games where they've given up runs. And you know what? They've only lost 1 game, and Wheeler threw a gem. So, I mean, I don't know how serious of a contender the Florida Marlins are. We'll kind of see. They got the Orioles again coming up, and then they got the Mets. So we'll kind of see. We'll kind of gauge to see how well they are. I mean, how much of a contender they're going to be playing after they play the Mets, probably.
People were giving Derek Jeter so much just trash because of all the moves he was making.
I was too.
It seemed like he was just cleaning the closet out and just getting rid of excess baggage and money, right? But I mean, you get rid of Carlos Stanton, right? You get rid of the guy from the Brewers. What's his name?
Yelich,
who's having a horrible season right now.
Yeah.
He's back .092, something like that.
Right.
You get rid of these MVPs, and people are like, what are you doing? This is the future. Now it looks like they have a bright new future with Barron, man.
Looks like we'll see what happens, but it looks like they got something cooking over there in Florida. I mean, hey, if you were listening to the show last time, we told you they're about a plus 11,000 odds, a less 11,000 or so to win their division. Wow, if you put money on that, good for you. I wasn't brave enough to do it, but we'll see. So that goes for like the surprise teams. Who's a team essentially that you think is underperforming? Like, who should be playing better that isn't?
Well, there's 2 that come to mind.
Okay.
There's 2 that come to mind. Okay, and I'm going to stick with the AL East. The other team I was wanting to say is the Angels. I mean, geez, Louise, but they're going to bounce back. The Angels are going to bounce back.
I think so.
I want to talk about today the team that I mentioned in MLB preview that, I told everyone that they weren't going to be good, and they're living up to it. The Boston Red Sox. The
Yeah.
Boston Red Sox, I mean, they're the big market. They're the Red Sox,
They're in
right?
trouble.
They're in last place in the AL East, okay? They're in last place in the
Behind
AL
the
East.
Orioles.
What?
Behind the Orioles.
Behind the Orioles, man. Behind the Orioles, they have the second worst winning percentage in the American League, okay? And it's just going to get worse for the Boston Red Sox, okay? The next 13 games are against AL East contenders. They have 6 against the Rays. They got 4 against the Yankees, who they just got swept by last week, I think, and 3 against the Jays. I mean, they're gonna go probably 4-9, 3-10, right? This Boston Red Sox season is done. I'm sorry, it's done.
Oh, bold.
Bold, yeah. I mean, they're the only bright spot they have is Xander Bogaerts.
Awesome.
He's been smashing the ball, right? JD Martinez, Vasquez here and there, but besides that, their pitching staff is horrendous in Boston. Yeah. Horrendous. I mean, it's embarrassing what they've been doing. And man, that's my team that just
they're disappointing. They got to pick it up. I mean, they lost guys like Porcello and Eduardo Rodriguez, things like that. But you know, no excuse for Boston. Mookie Betts, yeah. I mean, no excuse for Boston. They got to pick it up. They still got a ton of bats on that team. A lot of guys who can hit 300 or higher. But we'll see. We'll keep track. We'll see. I still think that they can bring the bats around and get some wins against teams like the Orioles and the Blue Jays and keep themselves in contention. But we'll see. A team for me that just underperforming, man, and I know that they weren't a playoff team last year, but I picked them to make the playoffs this year, and it's because they got so many bats and I got enough pitching. But the Reds have been horrendous. They've lost series to the Tigers. They've been beat up by the Indians. They're just getting beat up left and right. They're one of those teams that when I see that they're the favorite against an inferior team like Detroit, who I think are inferior, I'm like, I want to money line them. I want to bet them. But they keep losing. They're losing. They've lost so many games, and they squandered really good pitching opportunities. Like Bauer's had some good games, and no run support. You know what I mean? So the Reds, if they don't start picking it up here soon, again, you said we're a fifth of the way through the season. We're getting there already. They're not gonna make the playoffs, and they're gonna be one of the most disappointing teams, of 2020. But that's for me. That's the team that's just struggling, man, and they got to pick it up. But baseball is back and it's exciting and it's fun. And I love having the sport back. It's amazing. And another sport that's really starting to heat up, and it's because their regular season is finishing, right? And that's basketball. That's and more specifically, the East is whatever, but the West is so exciting. That race for the 8th and 9th seed is ridiculous. You got so many teams that I wouldn't mind seeing LeBron and the Lakers go up against in round 1, where Memphis is holding on tight to that last spot, but they just lost again today to the Jazz. That's 4 in a row they've lost. So they're not careful. Either 5 or 4, yeah.
Dating back to
regular season? Okay.
That's 5 games in a row that Memphis lost.
And the thing is, they're losing to teams that are contending. They lost to Portland. They lost to New Orleans. I think they lost. I'm not sure who. I can't remember right now. I think it was the Spurs. Yeah. So that's rough. And for me, I think whoever gets to that 9th seed may have a chance to beat Memphis 2 games in a row.
I'll call it right now. I know we're going to talk about this, but my 9th seed is going to be Memphis, hands down.
So that being said, who's your 9th seed? I want to know.
I think, actually, I wanted to come to the show saying that the Memphis is going to hold on to the 8th seed, right? Because, they came in about 3 games ahead, 3.5 games ahead of the 9th seed. As of tonight, they're 1 game ahead
of Portland,
the Trailblazers, and the Spurs, and the Pelicans.
Yeah.
1 game behind. I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to go ahead and change it, actually. Memphis, they're not even going to make it into the 8th or 9th seed. They're done. Look at their next games. Their next games for Memphis are against the Pacers, who have come out of nowhere and just beat up on teams, right? Then they got the Heat and that zone defense.
Super tough team.
That 3-2 zone that the Heat use, good luck jobbing around on that one. And then they have the Thunder, been playing really good.
Ridiculously good.
The 76ers, who are going to be fighting for seeding.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they end with the Mavs. I don't see any give me games there for the Memphis.
Man, they could lose all those games.
Yes,
Potentially lose all
they're
those
done.
games.
They're done.
Yeah.
Who I see going into that 8-9 seed, okay? I see the Trailblazers, okay, going into that 8 seed, right? Behind Lillard and the
Right.
newfound second wind
McCollum.
of Melo, right? But who I see sneaking in, not the Spurs. I was going to come to the show and say, give me the Kings, right? Give me the Kings. Yeah, don't be shocked, okay? If they would have won yesterday against the Mavs, they choked it off in overtime.
Yeah.
I wanted to say today, Kings are going into the 9th seed because the remaining they play the Pelicans twice, the Nets, and they play the Rockets and Lakers at the end of the season. They're going to be resting the players.
Yeah.
The Kings, but they lost yesterday, right?
Making it tough now.
Tough one, and I don't see them bouncing back and beating the Pelicans twice.
Yeah.
So who I see jumping the Spurs and going to that 9th seed, the Pelicans. I see the Pelicans. Okay, they play the Kings twice. They play the worst team in the East. They play the Wizards and the Magic. Which can Magic okay?
Magic are tough.
This is the key game, though. This is the key game. The Pelicans' third game from today, Pelicans versus Spurs.
Ooh.
The winner of that game, I think, is going to
get the 9th seed. Interesting.
Yeah. And I'm going to say right now, Pelicans are going to get the 9th seed. Trailblazers get the 8th seed. And I'm going to say the Pelicans, man, they're going to take
They're going to win 2 in a row?
They're going to take off.
Wow.
Minute restrictions. Lonzo Ball is going to prove to everybody why he was the second pick in the NBA draft and why the Lakers should never got rid of him. That's just my opinion. Okay? Lonzo Ball, Zion Williamson, J.J. Redick, they're going to go ahead. And Brandon Ingram.
That's their best player.
Brandon Ingram. They're going to lead the Pelicans to the playoffs, and they're going to defeat the Trailblazers not once.
Oh, I think you're nuts. Actually, after what has been going on, I love the Trailblazers to get the 8th seed too.
I agree.
And that win against Houston was huge. I called that, by the way, but that was huge. Nurkic and Zach Collins have come back, and they're healthy, and they're really good, really good. And then on the bench, you got Hassan Whiteside, and you got Gary Trent Jr., who's come out of nowhere and just lighting it up in the bubble.
I have no idea who you just named, but go ahead, continue.
He's lighting it up. You're gonna learn his name, I promise you. So he's gonna. I think Portland's gonna end up in the 8th seed, and you know what? I like the pick of the Pelicans moving up to the 9th seed, especially after Memphis losing. But with that veteran leadership that Portland has, with the ability to score that they have, with the bigs that they have, there's no way the Pelicans are going to beat them twice. Portland's going to get that 8th seed, and we're going to see LeBron, Melo matching up 8-1, and it's going to be awesome.
As a Laker fan, I do not want to see that.
You'd rather see them play the Pels. Oh, 100%.
I do not want to see the Lakers playing the Trailblazers in the first round.
That's a tough matchup. With our offensive firepower, it's tough. But I think the Lakers will still win that one. But so
I will go to bed nicer if I see Pelicans Lakers first round.
I agree. Or Memphis Lakers first round. Yeah, 100% agree with you there, because I think the Lakers would sweep them. But I think it's going to be Portland. It's going to be tough. So that's what I got. That's who I'm picking for the 8th seed.
Cool. So we talked about MLB, right? Our surprise disappointments. We got the NBA Western Conference 8th seed out of the way. We're 8 and 9 seed out of the way. Now I think it's time to move on, right?
I think it is.
If I'm not mistaken, we're moving on to the part of the show where if you listen to us,
right, you've been making money.
You can make some money, right? So now we're moving on to say with me now, people. Chooches. Lock of the week, baby.
Let's go.
And just to go ahead and refresh memories out there, if you were courageous enough to put in some bets on, there's 2 locks last 2 shows, you would have been 2-0. 2-0, right? I mean, we told you put your mortgage on these 2 bets.
I had 2 mortgage payments now.
Hey, if you would have lost, guess what? You can't get evicted. Well, now you can because the federal government passed. Yeah, so. But anyway, let's not go there because we're 2-0, baby. We're
2-0. Light it up.
we won't bring up the fact that he had a horrendous week for his daily plays that
Hey,
we post on IG. That was
you know
bad.
what? If you only did the daily plays, that's your fault. You didn't listen to the show. You didn't get the locks. Hey, that ain't my fault. You know, you got to be listening to the show.
Yeah, you're right. So, Chooch, let's not go ahead and hold our fans back. I'm guaranteeing right now they have their pens out, their phones out. They're
Do
ready to
it.
take down your lock of the week. And this week's lock of the week is going to take place for Friday, on Friday, and it's going to be a Major League Baseball game. We have the first place Twins in the American League Central going against the woeful KC Royals, who have the worst record in the major leagues. So,
Yeah,
who we got? Twins, Royals? Tell us why.
it's an easy one for me, really. The Twins are gonna take this game. They're probably about minus 180. They with their offensive firepower, I would first opt to money line them. But with their offensive firepower, go Twins minus 1.5. They're just been hitting the cover off the baseball, and the Royals don't have enough pitching to hold them back. They got a lot of good young pieces like Mondesi and Gordon and a
Wait,
couple of other.
what name did you just drop right now? Mondesi?
Mondesi, Alberto Mondesi, one of the fastest guys in baseball.
Is his father Raul Mondesi?
His dad is Raul Mondesi, the former Dodger, former Yankee.
So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you know this because we discussed this, while you're back in LA. What's Raul Mondesi's nickname?
The one Vince Scully gave him?
Yeah, that's right. What is it, baby?
The something Cadillac,
The pink Cadillac. The pink Cadillac. Right, Raul Mondesi. His son is now in the majors with the Royals, but you're taking the Twins, right?
Yeah, give me the Twins. Absolutely. The Royals aren't very good this year. And I mean, it's possible they get surprised, but the Twins are having one of their better pitchers coming out on the mound that night. So give me the Twins. I even take a minus 1.5. I'll be bold. I'm gonna say minus 1.5. The Twins will win by 2 runs at least.
So we're looking to go 3-0 this week, right?
We're gonna go 3-0. It's the lock of the week. You gotta lock it in. It's 3-0. 3-0. Lock it in. Now,
So,
on the other side, my underdogs haven't been so great.
See, and that's what I'm going to bring up right now. I mean, for our fans out there, he is 0-2 in his underdog picks. But, again, they're underdogs, though, right?
Exactly.
They're not favorites, they're underdogs. This week, we're going to the NBA. Okay, we're going to go to the NBA, and we're going to go to the inconsistent, the Philadelphia 76ers, while they're infighting with Joel Embiid and his big mouth, right? Teams are fighting with him, and they're playing against Orlando. This kind of surprise team out there playing at home in the bubble, right? Orlando's about +2 right now. So tell us why you're gonna pick the Magic.
I love the Magic in this matchup, actually, and it's not even that I love the Magic so much; is that I hate the way Philadelphia's playing lately. Yeah. Every game they've played, I mean, they got sauced by the Pacers, who aren't a great team by any means. They're just not. T.J. Warren dropped, I think, 58. I know more than 50 on him. Ridiculous. And then they go against play other teams that aren't as good, and they're just struggling. They're not playing well. I watched them play today against who were they playing today? I can't put my finger on it. It was either today or yesterday, but they've been playing terribly. Absolutely. They played the Wizards. And the Wizards led for the most of the game. They ended up getting the win at the end, but the 76ers don't play like a team. They play very individual basketball, and the Orlando Magic use all the pieces that they have to score. So give me the Orlando Magic, the better team-based basketball team, to take it and beat the Sixers.
I like that. Okay, so just to recap for our fans out there, lock of the week, take the Twins on Friday to dismantle the Royals.
They're going to beat the Royals.
And then we have the underdog take, the Magic and the points to go ahead and upset the 76ers, right?
Yes, sir.
Go 3-0. And again, people, listen to the lock. Make you some money, baby.
Let's go. We're gonna get you that bankroll. And we're gonna bring in a guy who knows his sports. He knows his sports. And he's doing his best to get his bankroll through his entrepreneurial spirit, through his love of sports. We're bringing in my guy, one of my best friends from high school, Mr. Steven Barron. He goes by Steven. He's Stevie to me. Stevie Barron. He's a current photographer, videographer for Bleacher Report. His IG is super dope. You can catch him. We'll drop the link to his IG on all of our stuff. He's got some great shots of like Bronny, Zaire, a lot of the high school guys, who are really going to be the next man up in the NBA. So let's bring on my boy Stevie Barron. Alrighty, so we got Stevie joining us today. Stevie, you're a big time photographer, videographer for Bleacher Report. A lot of people might not know that, but you got a good following on Instagram and whatnot. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah. So like you said, I do a lot of videography and photography. I just started like messing around. It was just a hobby. And then one thing led to another, and I just started making money and then started picking up bigger clients. And now I work for Bleacher Report.
How did you build that connection? How did that come about? We're just like at a tournament or something, and then somebody kind of liked what you were
For
doing.
Bleacher Report, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So what happened was basically I was doing so I was working with trainers directly. So I was working with one trainer for football first, and his name's Danny Hernandez out in LA. So he actually hit me up through Instagram, and he was asking like, oh, yo, I want to do some videos. Like I'm doing like some training sessions. If you can do some videos so we can start marketing my stuff.
Yeah.
And I already had started doing other stuff like more hobby wise, but this was like actually getting paid for it.
Right.
And so then one thing led to another. I started meeting people that were doing like photography and all this stuff. So then I got introduced to a basketball trainer. So I started doing a lot of basketball workouts. And then, but so at the same time that I'm doing all this stuff, I'm creating all this work, I'm posting it to my Instagram. Right. So I'm like marketing myself as like a photographer and a videographer at the same time.
Right.
So I was being very consistent. Like I feel like every week I was doing like 3 or 4 videos and just like pushing them out, And one thing led to another, and like I was looking at my emails, and I got like this offer letter from Bleacher Report. But at the time, like I remember it right now, like there was like chain emails going around, like fake emails. So I wasn't sure if it was like real or not. So I had to I kind of like looked at it and I was like, nah, it's not real. And then I got home and I was like looking at it a little more. I was like, okay, this might be real, Like I looked up the person on LinkedIn and just made sure, like, just had to fact check everything real quick.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So they basically like emailed me. They said they found me on Instagram and they want to see if I wanted to work for them the upcoming season. And this was 2 years ago. So I've been working them for 2 years.
Okay, and what do you do for them? Like, what's your field of focus essentially?
Well, to start off, it was just like videography and like photography, like getting their assets for like high school games. Okay. But it's kind of adapted into like more of a producer and like a social content like programmer now, especially now since like the quarantine. It's kind of forced us to be like more social media savvy instead of, because I mean we can't go out and shoot the games now. Yeah. So now we're gonna be like trying to create content for social media instead of just giving them the content.
So how does that work now if you don't? So you can't physically go to the games and shoot? How do you get your content then?
Well, the thing is, like, so we can't physically go because, like, so Bleacher Report's owned by Turner Sports.
Gotcha. Yeah, have, TNT.
So TNT, exactly. So they put out like a thing because of COVID that they don't want any of their employees traveling. So obviously, if I can't travel, I can't go, or like they don't want. And then so once that happened, like my manager and his manager said like, oh yeah, you guys it's not worth it to go to the games with everything that's happening, Like, we
but I see you still pumping out content though. So how is that working?
So the reason that's happening is because we have 2 years of content that we're sitting on. So we have all these video clips of like Sierra Canyon, Bronny. We have a bunch of videos, and like we're just trying to like, I guess, recompose it into like new content and like push it out so people like still can get stuff from us, basically.
Okay. No,
all right, so real quick, Steve, and before we continue with what you're going on right now, how did you get into this whole photography and videography deal? Like, was that a college thing? Was it you were studying in college, or just a hobby you picked up? Or like, tell us actually how you got into this whole department.
I think I got an idea where it started, but I'm gonna let Sal tell the story. I mean, I gotta believe it came from your roots at Bosco Tech, at least a little bit.
Yeah, nah, for sure it did. Like, that's literally the story. I was actually, when I was in Indiana, some guy asked me, like, how did I get into it? And that's exactly what I was talking about. Like, in high school, so obviously I went to, like, I went to Bosco, and it's out here in Rosemead, California.
Sure.
And so, I mean, we weren't great, obviously, so we weren't having people come to our games to like.
Hold on, Steve, real quick. When you mean great, like you guys sucked in sports.
I mean, yeah, you could say that, bro.
Comparatively.
Continue.
Honestly,
you guys tried hard.
The people we were playing, were just better. You know,
Okay.
we weren't bad.
That and you know, one thing I will say about the kids at Bosco Tech and everybody that, you know, at least in our 4 years that went there, is we might not have been the best at sports, but you better believe that like every guy on that team loved sports and loved what they were doing. And you know, and we had the heart, we just didn't have all the talent. That's really what it was.
That's facts. Sometimes you can't be smart and be athletic. That's what I learned. But basically, so going to Bosco, we didn't have people like coming to our games to like video us. Like we'd have photographers like here and there, like Max Preps, like the typical people. Right. But so after my freshman season, my dad had actually like recorded all my games, and like I was like, fuck, like I want like a highlight tape or something. So I like forced myself to learn, and like so that's kind of how I started. Like I learned my way through the programs in order to cut like video up. So I already knew how to do that. And then slowly, but I mean, I've always known how to use a camera somewhat. I never really saw myself going into it. Like I always thought like, oh, that's cool. I'm actually a graphic design major in college too, so that kind of helps as well. But I mean, just like I said, it started as a hobby at first. Like I think like one of the first things I was actually doing was my friends were trying to start a YouTube channel for like their fitness page. Like they're trying to be like.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're trying to do that a lot. So I mean, I wasn't getting paid for any of that. So I mean, like I guess it was just the experience. But yeah, I would go with them.
Building,
yeah, getting the reps in, like learning like little things about like the video industry and the photo industry that I wanted to do and get better at. So that's like where that started, and then that's how I got into like. So after I did that, I remember I started working with a company called Stars. Stars in you remember Alfred?
Yeah.
Delgado. So Alfred used to hit me up all the time too, like to do videos for A&G. So I would do like he was probably one of the first people to pay me too because he needed someone, and I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll do it for $100. So I told him, yeah, I'll do it. And then that's where I met my boy Rick. So Rick introduced me to Stars, and that's kind of how I got like more into sports. So that's how I got into football, and we started shooting like NFL people and stuff like that. I mean, we never got paid for it, but it was good to be around those guys to learn how to like
interact with them and whatnot.
Hey, so Steve, you've been name dropping a bunch of names here that again, I think this is where we kind of cross paths. So your boy Rick, if it's the same kid I'm thinking about,
it is the same kid.
Okay.
It is definitely the same kid you're thinking about.
Ricky Garola.
You know how I know it's the same kid? Because
he would have big that high school called Cathedral.
Yeah, he did. But so Chuch's photographer, I forget his name at his wedding, but
Mondo.
He's real good friends with him too.
Asen,
yeah.
So I know Rick's good friends with him too.
Yeah. So then Rick, he introduced you to Stars and Coach Frog.
Yeah, Coach Frog, which you went to Cathedral as well. So it's a small world, dude.
Hey, that's networking at its best, baby. Yeah. It's networking at its best.
Seems like a bunch of dickheads that went to Cathedral. You guys all have the same thing in common.
Catholic high schools, right?
Exactly. It's funny, small world.
So you got into that, right? And you just started doing stuff like that. So I know we're sports guys, we're big sports guys, and I know that you are too. So is this kind of like the pinnacle? This is where you want to be? Is this the dream, or what's the dream for Steven Barron? Where do you want to be? Are you there already, or are you like, I want to be courtside at Laker games shooting LeBron, or what is it like? Where does Steven Barron see himself? Where does he want to be?
Honestly, at first, like my dream, dude, was like to work for Disney. Like coming out of high school, I was like, yo, I'm gonna go to college, go to graphic design, do this stuff, and like I'm working for Disney. I never really saw myself working in sports until maybe like my sophomore year, and I was like, yo, like I could work for a team, do like some graphic design stuff. Right. And then after like this video stuff started blowing up, I was like, you know what, like I don't even want to work for a team. I want to do stuff for myself and like have the team hire me to do stuff for them, you know?
Okay.
I'm definitely not where I want to be, but there's definitely some stuff that I still want to do, you know? Like I definitely want to be like courtside and all that stuff. I mean, I've done a lot of stuff already.
Yeah.
But I think there's definitely more to come for sure.
So you've met people, kind of built connections in the sports world, guys that we'd be lucky to even sit and talk to for 5 minutes or see them somewhere in public. You know what I mean? So who's kind of one guy that you were like kind of in awe? Not, I wouldn't say in awe of because you see a lot of people, but one guy that you were like, holy crap, that's so and so, and I just like I interacted with him, I got pictures of him, or I talked to him or something like that. Who's kind of one guy that kind of took you back a little bit and made you think like, man, this is really cool what I'm doing here.
Dude, honestly, this past season is probably the craziest. I mean, like, shocked kind of thing because of the whole Bronny being a freshman.
Right.
So, I mean, obviously, LeBron and D Wade being at the games, Gabrielle Union, like Drake. Yeah. You have like Lil Uzi popping out to games, like stuff like that. I mean, I never got to interact with them, but for them to be like in the same vicinity, like within like walking distance to you, it's kind of like, oh damn, they're like real people too, like you don't just see them on TV kind of thing.
You're in that realm with them, you're in that world with them essentially.
Exactly. So it's gonna be for the next 4 years. I mean, I'm kind of like numb to it now, where it's like, it's LeBron, he's at the game, whatever.
Do you ever find yourself wanting to shoot him and not the game?
Sometimes, dude. Like, I definitely find myself, but it's kind of like weird, Like, at least for me, I don't know about other people, but like, it's weird to point my fucking camera at him while he's like watching his kid,
Right.
I feel like there's some sort of like respect you have to have, like, to try not to bother him too much.
Definitely.
So what's next on your plate? What do you have coming up next? I know we're still in this quarantine. You've been doing like a lot of reruns of other games and stuff, but what's next? What's the next step for Bleacher Report or for Steve as an entrepreneur? What are you doing next?
Shit, for Bleacher Report right now, we're just like I said, like, we're trying to come up with content, like definitely brainstorming to do what we can with what we have, because I mean it's not much compared to our competitors. But for myself, like I told you guys before, I'm working with this company called QB Collective, and they're doing a lot of good stuff with like the quarterback stuff. So there's probably gonna be a lot of big projects coming up with them in the near future for like the next 6 months. Another big one actually though that I'm pretty sure you guys are aware of, like, about the player likeness rule. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. So us as media people, I think we, well, for me at least, that I'm thinking about, we're going to impact that a lot, because I feel like, especially for me, I've worked with a lot of brands, and I think these brands are going to want to team up with like the Chad Johnson Juniors of the world,
right,
or whoever it may be, and like give them product to promote on their page. Because I don't know how many followers Chad Johnson has, but I'm pretty sure it's a lot.
He's certified.
Yeah, exactly.
About 6,000 or so. So yeah.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, so they have the space in order to promote like your Rydell, like your Nike, your Adidas, whatever it may be. So I think that's the next big step. Especially since it's so new, I want to jump in it as fast as possible and take advantage of it.
So basically, you're going to capitalize on this whole new market of basically filming and doing video stuff for these college athletes, promoting big market stuff like Nike, Under Armour, Rydell.
So yeah, I mean, you said you're kind of. I mean, I'm really interested in this kind of this new marketing for these younger guys, because it's basically like you're working with the NextManUp, kind of like our show. You know what I mean? So kind of. So tell me why that's important to you. Tell me why you like working.
So they get to the league, and that league isn't promised, So why not make that money now when brands are willing to pay for that advertising space to an audience that you have already, Absolutely. So they're going to be able to position themselves to make a better living, to in essence, I think, make big money before they even get to the league. So, I mean,
I think of a guy kind of like RG3, where he was huge in college. He was at Baylor. He was huge, and he gets to the league, has like 1 or 2 good years, gets injured, and he's not seen as much money as he could have. You know what I mean? Yeah. If he was being able to profit off his likeness in college, like you said, So
I feel like this definitely gives like a big head start. Like, there's definitely so many stories like RG3, dude. So many superstars in college that just, I guess, contributed so much to the game and didn't see anything back.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like another guy kind of comes to mind. Reggie Bush is probably the greatest college athlete I've ever seen. I think I've ever seen in my whole life. And the guy should have made a lot more. I know he had the whole scandal thing, whatever. But if he was being able to get paid for his likeness, and that eliminates that too, So exactly. It's definitely one of those. I think it's really good for the game of college football. I think it's really good for the athletes more than anything.
Yeah,
And it'll probably encourage them to go to school for 4 years. You're making money in college. You might even go and get your degree, and then you got a backup plan after. So I'm
exactly,
all
dude.
I'm all for it. I think it's awesome that you're kind of working to help those guys do that. So that's awesome. Keep up the good work for sure. Kind of one of the last things I wanted to talk about was if you watch and people who keep up with our show definitely know, and I'm sure, and I know you watched it and stuff, listened to it.
And you
We're
saying
big.
I'm not a fan?
You're also a fan. Heck yeah, you're also a fan. And we talk about sports betting constantly. That's kind of our thing, right? So can you give our fans kind of like a futures bet? Let's talk. We're talking like who's gonna make the World Series, who's gonna make a playoff. That's kind of under the radar for you. Let's say basketball, football, baseball, whichever one you're feeling. Like I'm really strong about the Lakers winning the NBA Finals, or I'm strong about the Yankees winning the World Series. Tell me what you got, and give us a little bit why.
Well, I'm guessing, Steve.
In our shoes.
Yeah, I'm guessing, Steve. You got to use your experience of filming all these kids in high school and all that stuff, and maybe you want to see a kid. Damn, this kid was a stud when I filmed him, and people don't really talk about him too much. But I'm gonna say he's gonna explode, later on. So give us a future, like a kid or a team that you think is gonna explode.
An upset, kind of off the wall. Like
Yeah.
I'm feeling the Thunder to win their first round or something. I don't know, something like that.
I'm trying maybe to give you an upset, like
Upset.
in like basketball or baseball or whatever.
Basketball, baseball, football, whatever you're feeling. What's one we're not thinking about?
I think you already said it though. Like honestly, I think the Angels they have the potential to be pretty solid this year. They're looking like the potential, like their ceiling is a lot higher than it used to be,
You said who was that?
The Angels.
Oh, the Los Angeles Angels. You heard it here, our guys.
I think they definitely do have a high ceiling, especially with the addition of Rendon and then Ohtani. He just has to stop trying to hit the ball like he's trying to launch it 500 feet.
I hear
Just make some contact and he should be fine.
Hey, Steve, are you a Dodger fan or Angel fan?
I'm a Dodger fan, dude. I hate the Angels. It hurts me to say that, bro.
Sure. I believe you. I believe that.
I was gonna say the Marlins at first, but I mean,
that's bold.
First place in the NL East.
That's bold. Hey, you heard it here.
In the league for long, bro.
You heard it here. Steven Barron likes the Angels to make the playoffs. I like the Angels to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's due time, dude. Like it's been so long, and I think Mike Trout deserves it.
I don't care about Mike Trout. I think he's the boringest player in the league, honestly.
Oh my god.
He's the best athletic wise, and like, yeah, he's the best player in the league, whatever. But he's so boring. Like, have you ever seen him in an interview? He wears a little faux hawk and he likes to talk about the weather. Who the hell cares about the weather?
That's crazy.
I cannot stand.
Hey, that's what happens in Orange County, bro. You just become boring.
Yeah, you literally exactly.
Games are boring as hell too. I don't know if you played a video game. That shit sucked.
So one thing I want to do with you, Steve, because we do this on our show at the end of every show. We haven't done it with the guests yet, so this is kind of cool. We do takeaways. So like, what has been your takeaway? Let's say, I'm not gonna say just for the show's length, but give me your takeaway. Let's say since you started at Bleacher Report to now, what's one thing you've taken away from there, and what are you like carrying with you, no matter if you stay with Bleacher Report or do stuff on your own? What's one takeaway?
There's a lot of money in the sports industry, dude.
Okay.
And like, it's crazy. Yeah, no, it's like ridiculous. Like I didn't realize it like playing, and I'm just realizing it now that there's so much money that goes into sports that it's definitely a big industry, and you can definitely excel in it.
And gets you excited, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, it does get me a little more than excited, if I'm being honest.
Hey, we're all trying to get paid, my guy. We're all trying to get paid.
Exactly, you're trying to get that bread, right?
You said they need content. Hey, we got content. Let's go.
Hey, yeah, here we are. One day, I'm telling you that they're probably gonna want it. Like, there's people that do this stuff, like you're saying, like the podcast stuff, that get paid millions of dollars just to be like Joe Rogan goes on Spotify.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Not sport, obviously, but like just a perspective.
For me, my takeaway is kind of similar. Hearing you talk about being able to really start from scratch and build your network and kind of build your resume, build your portfolio on the go, and doing something that you truly enjoy. And I hope my fans listening and I'm definitely taking note of it, that it's possible. Sometimes it may not seem possible, starting from scratch and building something on your own, but it definitely is. If you work hard enough and you can tell, you make the right connections, you meet the right people, sky's the limit. And I think the sky's the limit for you, my guy. And we're hoping we can get to your level. You know what I mean? Get up there in the sports world. So
that's like the biggest thing in this world too. Just be consistent. If anything ever like challenges come up, just know like you have an end goal, and I think that's the biggest thing. Is a lot of people give up before anything even starts.
absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Words of wisdom coming from my guy Steven Barron over here.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks, Steven.
Yeah, of
We
course.
appreciate having you on, man. We appreciate having you on. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us. And that was my guy, Stevie Barron. I mean, he's a cool guy. He's a really cool guy to know. He was actually in my wedding, so that's my boy. I'm glad he had the time to take out and talk with us.
You're married?
I'm married. Yeah, yes, sir.
Oh, me too. Look.
Happily.
I'm kidding with that guy.
Yeah, so that's my boy. He's like I said, he was in my wedding. He's my guy. He's really talented. Check out his stuff on IG. Again, that IG is at STVBRRN, Steven Barron.
Good. You know what? I'm glad that our fans got to see the interview. Steve's a good guy. I'm more excited that you gave out his IG information because Steve, I know you're watching, Steve. I'm looking at you right in your eyes right now. Okay, you like to make fun of me and say that I'm ugly and not good looking. I'm not. Okay, I'm not. I'm married. I'm not. But that being said, we're gonna drop a poll.
Okay? Oh, a poll.
Who is better looking, Steve Barron or me? Okay.
So for everybody listening out there, you saw our guest, or if you heard him, tune in, go check the IG. We're gonna put a poll up. We're gonna put a side-by-side picture of Mandy and my boy Stevie. Yeah. And we're gonna see who people think are more handsome. So
obviously it's me. Obviously. But you know what?
I'm gonna see what the people say. We're gonna publish it. We're gonna post it, and we're gonna get the results. And hey, Stevie, I'd be a little nervous, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. Some of them girls like the bigger fellas, so
hey.
you know how it is. You know how it is. But we talked to our guests, and that was awesome. But now we're moving on to the best segment on this show. We're moving on to Rapid Fire Sports Trivia with Mandy.
Let's do this.
And if you've been tuning in, Mandy's been pretty awful at this. I mean, awful at this.
I mean, I would say awful. I would say below average. 60%.
60% a D. I mean, yeah, I guess at Cathedral that's all right. At Bosco, we just don't. That's not. We don't.
Baby, D's get degrees.
At Bosco, you ain't walking on stage. So we're moving on to the rapid fire. And Mandy, I got a good one for you here. So the MVP this year, I'm not sure who's gonna be for NBA. Is it gonna be my boy Giannis? Is it gonna be Bron? I'm not sure. I'm gonna go Bron, but hey. So anyway, on that, I'm gonna give you five players, okay? And each of them have some MVP, their MVP traits, qualities, all that good stuff, right? They each have awards, and you're gonna rank them in order from most MVP awards to fewest MVP awards, okay? So I'm gonna give you five. We got Kobe, LeBron, Curry.
Let me write the names down. Kobe,
LeBron, Curry, Melo, and this is an older one. I had to use it just for the number. Magic.
Okay. So, can I ask one hint though? Do all these guys have a MVP award?
Can't tell you that.
Okay. So I know Kobe just got one.
Okay.
I know Kobe got one. I don't think Melo got any.
Okay.
LeBron has a bunch. It's like 4, 3. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Yep.
I feel actually very confident in this right now, dude.
Let's see.
So I'm very confident. So do you want to go most first or the least first?
Most to least.
I'm most. Okay, here we go, man. Hopefully this doesn't backfire. All right, so I'm gonna go with LeBron the most.
Okay.
And then Magic.
Okay.
And then Curry.
Okay.
And then Kobe. And then Melo.
This is a first. Mandy just got all of them right.
Let's go! yeah, let's go.
He got it in perfect order. Melo had 0, Kobe with 1, LeBron 4, Magic had 3, and Curry had 2. That was perfect.
Look, people, look. Actually, you broke that down exactly how it. Wow.
Hey, not bad. I mean, it is what it is. He got him right. I'd stand corrected for the first time on this show. Mandy got him right. And if we're keeping score at home, I believe that's 11 out of 15. So improving. No, you got last time you got 6. You got 6 out of 10, and then 6 plus 5 is 11. 11 out of. So 11 out of 15. Damn, Cathedral. 11 out of 15. So that's not bad. That's not bad. We're gonna give you a bonus question here. This was actually asked by a follower. So if you're listening to the show, if you like the show, if you like the segment, drop us a trivia. DM us a trivia question on the IG. Make it modern. And we'll ask it to Mandy. He doesn't access the IG, so he won't know. So this one comes to us from our uncle and also a big fan of the show, Johnny_Padilla on IG. He wanted to see if you knew. So he was asking, besides the 2019 Ravens, who is the only team to win 14 games,
okay,
and not win a playoff game?
So I'm guessing since we're a modern history show, it's gonna be recent. Okay, 14 games. That means they have 14-2, 15-1. Okay. Wow.
There's no way you get this. This is hard.
This is hard. I'm gonna go with. You know what? I'm gonna go with my boy Cam Newton. Okay, and the Panthers. Look. Okay, they went to the Super Bowl once. Okay, I mean, okay, whatever. But I have a feeling because he had some great years in Carolina. I'm gonna say the Panthers. Had a great year before or after the Super Bowl run, whatever, and he didn't win any playoff games.
Okay. So you're wrong. And I'm pretty sure I don't know this off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure Cam's only went to the playoff once, and it was that Super Bowl run. But the team was 2011 Green Bay Packers. They went 15-1, and then lost in the divisional round to Eli and the New York Giants, who went on to win the Super Bowl. Hey.
That was Eli's year. That was definitely Eli.
That's the Eli run right there, baby.
You can go ahead and make me feel bad by getting this question wrong because it was a bonus one. I just went 5 for 5 in rapid fire. So
you got luck.
I'm great right now.
So that wasn't bad. All right, we'll stump you next week, and the fans are gonna help me with some questions, and we're gonna get at you. Like I said, DM us your questions. We'll get Mandy. We don't want to see him get questions right. Come on, it's Mandy. We don't want him to succeed. Hell no. So we don't want that. So help me out, guys, with that one. But yeah, I mean that was what we had for the show. And if you follow the show, after rapid fire, we do our takeaways for the week, essentially, and our takeaways for the show, our takeaways for the world, our takeaways for sports. So, Mandy, what's your takeaway today?
So, what I want to talk about is go ahead and this race for the Western Conference in the NBA. I mean, it's jam-packed. We have 6 teams. 6 teams theoretically vying for 2 spots, okay? 6 teams vying for 2 spots. They're all within 2 games of each other. This is what the NBA wants. The NBA wants, that's why they create this new rule of having this 9 seed at their 4 games playing game, right? That's what they want. And more importantly, what do they really want? They want to see Zion Williamson in the playoffs. That's why they gave them such a cookie schedule. Kings, Wizards, Spurs, Kings again, the Magic. That's cake. You compare that to the Suns, who end with the Pacers, Heat, Thunder, Sixers, Mavs, and you compare it to the Spurs, who end with the Nuggets, Jazz, Pelicans, Rockets. I mean, this is all set up for the Pelicans. All set up. Good job, NBA. We count you. We count you, okay? But again, going back to my pick,
I'm excited about it.
I want to see it. So thank you, NBA. We count what you're doing, but we love it.
Hey, we appreciate it. And honestly, my takeaway is from the NBA too. And it's really a shout out to the NBA. They've done the whole bubble thing and restarting of sports so well, so correctly. When you look at baseball and all the outbreaks that they've had, and then you look at NBA, it was like, I haven't heard of one player testing positive for corona. I mean, like inside the bubble. and they've just been doing things so well, so great, like quarantining people. Lou Williams went to a strip club. All right, Lou Williams, you got to sit out for a while. For the wings.
Thank you.
For the wings. Okay, for the wings. But NBA's yeah, I mean, NBA has done it so well, man. I love the virtual fans. I love seeing Paul Pierce at the Celtics games, even though I don't really like Paul Pierce. But I like seeing that stuff. Like, it's so cool. It's so much more entertaining than cardboard cutouts and empty seats in baseball games. Where, don't get me wrong, I'm really grateful to have baseball back. But the NBA has just done it so much better with their restart than the MLB has. And honestly, NBA, I appreciate it. Thank you. I love the product, and I'm really excited to, continue to. I'm really excited for the freaking playoffs, and that 8 seed watch. But, that's my takeaway for sports at the week. We're gonna get some more developing stories as we go. But that's my takeaway. That was Mandy's takeaway, and that was really the show. We really hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, that's gonna wrap us up for this week. That was episode 3 of the Next Man Up Sportscast. Follow the show on IG at NextManUp_SC. Follow us on Twitter, on Twitch, on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube if you want to see these faces. Mandy claims he's more handsome than Steve. We're going to find out. But that was the show for us today, and we'll catch you next time on the Next Man Up Sportscast.
Yeah.